Technical Soldier here, and I'm back to talk about Star Wars Andor Season 1, Episode 11, and my thoughts on this episode. Sorry about the latest on this video. I kind of had work last week, and I was way too tired after coming home from each day, and there was just no way I was going to be able to do a video. So, I'm getting the video out before the final episode tomorrow, and I am excited for it. I kind of think we are going to see something good tomorrow. Again, that is great to kind of feel about Star Wars. Like, I'm actually looking forward to a Star Wars episode instead of what I've been feeling for the last couple of years with Star Wars, which is just dread. So, Andor has that going for it. I think the episode overall, I think it's a good episode. I liked the battle scene. I liked Andor in this episode. I think Mon Mothma is she's becoming a bit more of a interesting character. I mean, to a point. Just going to keep it at there. But yeah, I'm finding the show very interesting. I like the fact we're going to a darker version of Star Wars. I think if they continue down that route with Andor, this could be a great show. Problem for me is Star Wars is very damaged right now. Not enough people are watching Andor, and you saw that with Disney's announcement of putting it on free television channels. So yes, I think Disney is definitely panicking on the fact Andor has not been watched enough, or has not got a big enough audience. And I do feel sorry for Andor and the writing team, because these people seem to understand that they're writing Star Wars. They're they're at least trying to entertain us and not, badger us with woke bullshit. So I'll give them that. But the episode overall, I liked it. There was a death in this episode that I thought was kind of pointless. I'm sorry, that's just where I'm going to go with that, because the person who died was supposed to be an important character, but they were there for only a bit, and they kind of didn't really bring that much to the show, in my opinion. I'm not sad they're gone. It just kind of seems like a pointless character to me. Well, that's my 2 cents on that. But yeah, I like the episode. I think it's good. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. But yeah, I am looking forward to the tomorrow episode, because it seems like it's going to be interesting. And I am liking what they're doing with Khan now, because they've actually started to put Khan into a position where he might be going after Andor, and it does seem interesting to me. So let's go on with the spoiler section of this review. If you don't want to hear spoilers, leave in 3, 2, 1. So the episode starts off with Andor's escape from the prison. Now I will say this, I didn't really like the whole escape story for Andor, because you don't really find out what happened to the other prisoners that escaped. And the kind of chase scene where they're just hiding from an Imperial ship. Again, I would like to see a bit more of it, just an episode just focused on Andor hiding from the Imperials, maybe going into a jungle and, I don't know, doing some mad shit with stormtroopers, knocking them out, killing them. That would have been interesting to see. Just having Andor run away to some rocks and then trying to steal a ship, it seemed boring to me. So that is a downside for me of this episode. So yeah, Andor and his friend escape. They tried to steal this ship from some bounty hunters, but the bounty hunters are smart and they don't leave their ship unguarded. They had traps, which catches Andor's companion. And then Andor pretty much asks the bounty hunters, listen, can you just let us go? We escaped the prison and we don't want to die, because the Empire finds us, they're going to kill us. And it turns out these bounty hunters, well, they don't really like the Empire either, so they're going to help them and take them where they need to go, which is back to that beach planet where Andor's hid his money. Next scene is finding out that Andor's mother has died, and how everybody feels so sorry that she's gone, and everybody feeling sympathy for Andor at this point. For me, I don't really care about Andor's mother. I'm sorry, she was never that interesting as a character. Her death, to me, means nothing. I could have done without it, personally. I don't think Andor need to have this parent character. I kind of think he should have just been on his own, trying to get through the world, he's dealing with the Empire. And his mother didn't bring anything. She's just an old person who hates the Empire, who wanted to be a rebel. and that was it. Maybe they could have done something better with her character. Maybe they could have done a, you know, an episode where we go back in the past and see how his mother and father kind of dealt with the Empire, with the kind of stormtroopers. But they didn't really do that much with that, unfortunately. They just hanged his dad, and it was sad to see that. But again, I think they should have focused on that more. I think they should have done an episode about that. But you know, I don't think it's that bad of a mistake. But yes, Andor's mother dies. Everybody feels sorry for her. We get this scene with the robot who's kind of dealing with depression because he's lost his kind of mother himself. And you kind of do care about this robot because, again, you can see he is definitely struggling with a loss. And he doesn't know what he has to do with himself now. And the people there are trying to look after the robot and trying to make sure that he's okay. We then get this scene between the robot and Andor's friend, who he tries to stay with the robot to make sure he's okay and he's doing all right after the loss of his mother figure. So I think that was a good scene. I think I like those scenes with the robot and Andor's friend. Kind of shows that not everybody on this planet is heartless. Kind of everybody trying to look out for everybody on the planet, because it's a hard world or a hard galaxy to get through, and to see people care about this little robot, it's kind of sweet. I gotta admit that. So the next scene is Val visiting Levon's shop where his assistant is. Val is like trying to find out more information, see what's happening, you know, find out where Levon is. But the assistant's pretty much like, this is not how things work, you do as you're told, you know, blah blah blah. She then tells the assistant Andor's mother's dead, so this would probably be the perfect opportunity to bring more people to Fondor to, you know, to get Andor to kill him. So that's pretty much the message that she's given to the assistant. And Levon is off planet somewhere. He's meeting up with Sol Guerrera, and Sol Guerrera wants to now join Levon's mission to attack a facility, an Imperial facility. But Levon tells Guerrera, "No, you can't be a part of this attack. We don't need you." But it's pretty much Levon trying so desperately not to tell Guerrera that this is a trap for the rebellion and they can't stop this trap from being sprung by the Empire because he has to protect his agent. But Sol Guerrera is not stupid. He knows how important this mission was to Levon, and he knows he wouldn't just be trying to keep him away from this mission for no reason. So when Sol Guerrera pretty much figures out he's hiding something, and he then figures out that he's protecting somebody in ISB, Levon comes clean and tells him, yes, it's a trap, people are going to die, but we have to protect our source in ISB. So, you know, that's what I really do like about this show. It does show the rebels are willing to go dark. They're going to give up their people to you know, keep an agent in the Empire, which shows that they have balls, which shows that this is kind of a more realistic version of how things go. Because, you know, if you know your history about, you know, wars and stuff, like the great like the attack on Britain that Churchill allowed to happen, that killed so many British people, but he couldn't let the Nazis know that they had broke the Enigma code. So yeah, again, it just shows the reality of war. Sometimes you've got to let good people die to save everybody. So that's what I liked about Levon. He's willing to do the dark stuff. And that's why I liked Andor too, because it kind of shows that yes, the rebellion is the good guys, but to fight the Empire you have to do bad things. So, you know, it's a good scene. We then go back to Fondor, where ISB is also watching Andor's mother's funeral, where they're trying to also capture Andor. Then we see them interrogate Bex again, and they're trying to find Lefon because they know they're getting close to finding the head of this rebel network, and Bex is trying very desperately to not give in to the Empire, but there's pretty much no hope for her. She is going to get interrogated to death, unless what happens in tomorrow's episode is going to be them trying to spring her out of the prison. Who knows? But she gives in and tells them about Lefon, and ISB pretty much try to make a plan to capture both Andor and Lefon. Next scene is Mon Mothma in her apartment with Val, and Val kind of surprised that her niece has taken to Mon Mothma and their religion because they come from a very religious planet, and Mon Mothma sees a bit sad that she now has to give her only daughter to a black market gangster's son so she can get her money to the rebellion. And her sister Val kind of sees that it's really hurting her and maybe this has gone too far, but they both understand they're fighting the Empire and sometimes sacrifices do need to be made, which I kind of did like. I kind of like the fact you see Mon Mothma, she's trying to be a good mother to this girl, but she has to get this money to the rebels so that they have a chance at fighting the Empire. And the only way she can do this is going through this black market person, so she's going to have to bite her tongue and just let the meeting between her daughter and this gangster's son go forward. And Val's the same. She hates the fact she has to do all this, but again, both understand there's a bigger picture they have to see and accept. We then go to Khan, who is in his apartment with his mum, who gets a call from that Scottish security officer from the 3rd episode. And it turns out the Scottish security officer has found out about Andor's mother's death. He tells Khan about it, and Khan then decides this is a great opportunity to finally grab Andor. Again, if they do this right, they could have Khan and Andor have a good fight with each other in the next episode and keep this, villain, good guy story going till next season. If they just kill Khan off when he goes to Fondor, I think that would be pretty fucking ridiculous and makes Khan a very pointless character, in my opinion. But so Khan gets the information from the Scottish security guy. He then steals some jewellery from his mother's safe and books a ticket to Fondor to see if he can finally grab Andor. Again, could be interesting if they do it right. We then go to Lefon on his ship, preparing to jump back to Coruscant, but then is intercepted by a Imperial cruiser, and they try to scan his ship, but find out there's something wrong with his identity card on the ship, so he's pretty much trying to bullshit his way out of the situation with the Empire. But it turns out this Imperial officer is not stupid. He sends a boarding party to his ship to inspect it. Yes, in the scene it does look like he's just trying to send them off to do a little bit of a training exercise, but I kind of think it kind of does show that he is very suspicious of this ship, and so he wants to get a boarding party on their ship to make sure nothing goes wrong. Lefon pretty much figures out he's got no chance of blagging his way out of this situation, so he prepares his weapon systems on his ship to fight this Imperial cruiser, and then fires some sort of metal rod things at the dishes of this cruiser. He blags as much as he can. He waits for his sisters to be fully armed, fires these rods at one of the dishes of the cruiser, blows the dish up, and shoots the boarding TIE fighter, and then uses some sort of lasers on the side of his ships to destroy the 2 other TIE fighters, and then jumps back to Coruscant. I think it's a good scene. I like this new weapon he had on his ship, which is just like steel rods that he fires at the Imperial cruiser. It looked great. I would like to have seen a bit more in this attack. I would like to have seen him maybe consider destroying the entire cruiser. Maybe his ship is that powerful. I don't know. But it was still a good scene in my opinion. The final scene is Andor on this beach planet where he finds his money, decides to call home to see if his mum's okay, to tell her that he's fine and he's thinking about her. But the person that he rings tells Andor what's happened, tells him that his mother's died, and that he should come back for the funeral, basically. Andor, you can see, he's pretty hurt by the loss of his mother, and when he goes to, give some money to the prisoner he escaped with, the prisoner says they need to split up and tell the entire galaxy what happened to them and what happened to all the others in the Imperial prison, because they're both not sure how many people survived or if anybody survived the escape of the prison. So they both are going to split up and hopefully tell the entire galaxy what happened to them. And Andor is pretty much going to go back to Fondor to, be there for his mother's funeral. And that's how the episode ends. I think it's a good episode. Got great scenes. I love the fact we're seeing more and more of the rebellion now. Kind of think we should have been seeing that a lot more in this show. But again, it's still a good series. I've enjoyed it. Not that much woke stuff in it, if any, at this point. But yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's episode. And it is a 7 out of 10 for me. And that's the end of my review. If you like this review, give it a like. If you dislike this review, give it a dislike. And if you like my content, do think about subscribing. Entertainment Soldier. Bye.